I'm not going to lie, I am running on 2 hours sleep, utterly exhausted. I am probably from that generation of parents who are just feeling burnt out, financially drained, kind of on the floor, and I'm incredibly privileged. I mean, the reason she's here today is because I'm on a waiting list for childcare at the moment, papering over the cracks of, I feel like at the moment, a system that just is set up for parents to fail. I'm going to be honest. Wanted to know from your perspective what you can do for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks very much for coming over. It's great to see you and lovely to meet beautiful Lola as well. Hello.
Well, she's going to be like Jeremy Paxman today. The main questions are going to come from here, I'm afraid. She's the generation you're talking to.
Absolutely. And I think just to start by saying, I hear you in that sense. I know how hard it is at the moment for lots of parents, mothers in particular, juggling kind of cost of living, childcare, work. And that's, everything that I'm doing as Education Secretary is about how we make sure we support parents more. So what I was talking about in terms of the Best Start Family Hubs, rolling them out across the country, becoming a parent, particularly for the first time, is it's wonderful, but it can be really isolating. And making sure that there's lots of activities locally for families, including free activities, because a lot of activities can cost a lot of money for parents who don't have that kind of money, but also access to health services, to family support, parenting support, breastfeeding support, infant feeding. That's all incredibly important. And when we were last in government, we rolled out Sure Start across the country, and I'm kind of building on that legacy.
Because right now we feel quite alone. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Like they say, it takes a village. Where's the village? There's not. For me, there's nobody governmentally. There's my family aren't around. I don't have mum and dad to help me out with childcare. I feel like a lot of parents right now are very alone. And I think that's maybe why the comment, around we want more young people to have children. I know it's obviously in the context of a lot more structure coming in place from the government, but I think it was really triggering to a lot of us, because right now, even with a wealth of privilege, it feels like walking through mud, when it should be about making memories. I'm actively missing memories right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to know a bit more about how you feel things have changed from maybe when you were a mother, when you were a child, to kind of where we are now.
Yeah, and just to say, what I was trying to talk about was actually how we make it easier for parents and how we make it easier for young people to do what's right for them. It's not about telling people what to do. It's actually, for me, about giving people a bit more freedom and choice in their lives. And I know at the moment that lots of those choices are constrained by the cost of living, cost of housing, childcare, how to juggle work and family life. And I want to make that easier. It's not about telling people how to live their lives.
Well, I think this, now the norm is 2-parent income families, whereas, back in the past it was predominantly men went out and earned the bacon and women cooked it. We're in a place where we're doing it all. I don't actually want it all, I'm doing it all.
No, absolutely. And my experience, so I've got 2 children and I'm married, and I feel, very lucky. I'm in a privileged position as a member of Parliament, and I know therefore I have it easier than most. But growing up, my mum brought me up on her own. She was a single parent, and I grew up in a council street in the northeast in a pretty tough time where there were lots of problems around crime and youth unemployment, and we didn't have it easy. I mean, others had it harder. Like my mum was amazing, loving. We had my grandparents to help, but she wasn't able to work until I went back to school because there was no childcare. And as a result, we didn't really have very much. And everything I do in terms of my work is to make it easier for children and for families. And I think back, not just to my own experience, but actually the experience of the people that I represent now in Sunderland, who are still living some of that, and I want to make it easier. And the childcare expansion, the expansion of free school meals, how we cut uniform costs, all of that is about what are the practical things that government should be doing to back families and to make it easier.
Childcare should just be infrastructure. It should be like roads, railways, signposts. It feels like it's almost a sort of side hustle to an extent, a fluffy extra. And I think that's where we feel totally let down right now. Why won't the government allow me to contribute to the economy. It just comes down to that, really.
No, absolutely. And today I'm publishing our Best Start in Life strategy, which is about bringing together everything to do with childcare, early years, health, and all of those family services. And, you know, I'd said when I became Secretary of State, early years is my number one priority, and I really mean it. And that's why, you know, this big strategy we're setting out today is a real step change. It's not been done before by government, and it is a big step forward. But I know the frustrations, it is going to take time, but our commitment, my commitment to the early years and to backing families is absolute.
What excites you most about that initiative? Like, what's the one thing, if you could pull it out for my followers, my listeners, our readers, what would you highlight?
So I know it is important in terms of helping parents to make good work choices, but actually I think what it comes down to is life chances for our children. And all of the evidence is so clear. If we can support our littlest children, we set them up to succeed, and we set their families up to succeed. And what I'm setting out around more support for the workforce, making early years a really brilliant place to go and work, how we back those fantastic early years educators is really important. We know that there are changes that are needed around the current funding model that we've got, and we're committed to making that easier for parents and delivering the places that I know you've obviously just said you've not been able to access, which we're going as fast as we can and creating some of those new places.
It's almost like if you don't have grandparents to help you out, you know, you are very much on your own. It's kind of impossible. I've actually just come off the back of an EU conference. Lots of educators there, lots of teachers there. Again, you know, I think a lot of them mothers who are extraordinary teachers, educators, but are disappearing from education because, quite simply, right now, where it stands is we've got companies saying everyone back 5 days a week, alongside childcare costs kind of skyrocketing, and teachers who are not in it for the money, who just want to raise the next generation, educate the next generation, are the ones really falling through those cracks.
No, absolutely. And hello.
Yep, she's really angry on behalf of the
agrees.
NEU.
Lola agrees, yeah.
Furious.
I absolutely agree. I mean, the biggest group that we see leaving teaching are women in their 30s.
That's it.
I
think it was 9,000 female teachers aged between 30 and 39 last year left. 9,000.
We've got to take action to address that, not only because it, you know, for those women, for their careers, for what they've committed to doing, it's a tragedy, but also we're losing people when they're at their most experienced, when they've really got to a great place in their career where actually they should be able to support new people coming through.
When you've had, not this is taking away from non-parents, but when you've had a baby, like I know, you look at that classroom of children through totally different eyes. You just do, and those are the teachers we're cutting out. Again, mothers, it comes down to us. We're the collateral damage right now.
And we're making changes around teaching to make it more flexible, to better support teachers to stay in the profession, but also to do things like marking time and assessment work from home, so to better combine that. But there is more we need to do. And that comes hand in hand with the review launched last week around parental leave, which is a big area.
Long time coming.
Absolutely.
She was delighted with that progression.
Because it's not working at the moment. And it's not, I want mums to have great choices, but actually I want dads to have those great choices as well. 2 weeks. 2 weeks paternity. I mean, just as you go into sort of potential postnatal depression, your partner is in a heterosexual couple pulled away from you in that moment, and also same-sex marriages. So it's definitely, I think, it feels like maybe where I am right now, and I know a lot of my followers are, is we're so excited about change. It's so lovely to hear, but when you've been in what feels like the parental trenches with no support, nothing, genuinely is how it feels. I lived in Amsterdam and I existed in a world there with one baby where I thought that was the norm, and I came back here and the contrast was so profound that I had no choice but to come and turn up in Parliament to try and fight for a better way for our children's future. And I know you feel that too. I do really feel that. And I meet with too many parents like you who find everything a struggle, and parenting shouldn't be so hard. Look at my privilege, and I'm not able to make it work. So single mums. And my kids are much bigger now, and this world seems like a long time ago. It goes by so fast, but it does go by so fast, and that's why you know, I want to make sure that parents are able to enjoy a lot of these precious moments and not feeling rushed or hurried and that everything is hard. Now, this does take time. We're not going to fix it all overnight, but I think some of the action we've taken, even in this first year in government, has been about focusing on children's life chances and on backing parents as well.
I think it's like parents need to be held while we kind of hold the baby. My last question before she decides this is over, my last question is to that postnatally depressed mother right now who is unable to get childcare, doesn't have grandparental support, can see female teachers leaving education in their droves right now, feels completely alone. What is the one thing today that she can do where she can get support, not promises of the future, but of the now? What can she do?
Absolutely. So to that new mum who's really struggling, my message would be that the challenge she has right now is at the front of my mind in everything that we're doing as a government. So launching that Best Start in Life strategy today. But one of the big changes obviously is around expanding childcare provision, early years provision. We know we need to do more to make sure those places are there, and that's why we've got more places coming in September, why we're expanding school-based nurseries as well. But everything we're doing as a government is about how we can support families, and I believe really strongly that families come in all shapes and sizes, and it's about the love that parents can give. But I want parents and that new mum who's struggling to have that time and that space to do it. And the Best Start family hubs we're going to start rolling out in every part of the country are about making sure that she can find someone to speak to, doesn't feel so isolated, can meet other people, because actually it's the other new parents that you meet, as well as some of the professionals that can help.
You need the community, the village.
Absolutely. And
I think we've gone beyond anger now. I think we're exhausted. Yeah. That's it. And I wondered if you'd have us back at some point to keep conversation going, because I feel like this is very much just the beginning, and there's a lot of, like I said, pain being carried by this generation of parents.
No,
I'd love to come back
absolutely
and find 100%. Out what's going on.
Completely.
Because I think in terms of the final thing I'll say is sometimes it feels like the promises around childcare are almost like we're going to invest in the M25 motorway, but you kind of run out of tarmac at some point. And I need to be able to get from A to B with this. And I think that's what we would love to come back and find out. She'll probably be a year, 2 years old when she's next in the hot seat. But thank you for the time.
That'd be great.
Thank you for backing us. And thank you for hearing us.
No, absolutely. Thanks very much for coming in. And big thank you to you, Lola.
She's like, yep, well, I'll be back. Jeremy Paxman, News Night.
Sleep time.